God will go before you and He will protect you. He will make the way in the wilderness and in the desert. Hello, guys, this is Rinku Senior, and you are listening to Hope and Love, the podcast. You know, God is just not a God, He is your way also. He is your Father, and He does know all about you. Bible says, God will fight for you. He will go before you, and He will fight to your enemies. Our fight is not to flesh and bones, it is to spirits of evil forces. And as God is a spirit, He will also fight to spirits. We can see the spirits, but we can experience them. Also, we can experience God. Some people says we don't believe in God because we don't see Him. We can't see His existence. It doesn't matter what they say, but it matters what you believe. If you believe, then you can experience God's miracles in your life. If you believe in God, then He will fight on your behalf. It is up to you and your belief. People don't believe in God, so they can't experience God. It is written in Bible that if you believe in God, then you can see glory of God. Without belief, you can't experience God. Belief is the most important part in God's kingdom. When you come to God with belief. Bible says, love your God with all your heart. Whom you do love. If you believe someone, then you love him or her. If you don't believe them, then you can't love them. The same way, if you believe in God, then you must love Him with all your heart. When you love God with all your heart, then God will bless you exceedingly and abundantly. Bible says that God has so many precious gifts for His children, those who love Him. Your eyes haven't seen, your ears haven't heard, and you didn't even imagine or dream what God has for you if you love God with all your heart. Those who love the world and worldly things, they don't actually love God. Christianity is not just a religion, it is about love and relationship with God. God wants we make an intimate relationship with Him. When we will have an intimate relationship with God, then God will reveal His plans and will for our life. We should not ask God what we want in our life. We should ask God what is His will for our life. When we will spend our most of times with God in prayers, in fasting prayers, in reading Bible, then we will gain the clarity about God's will in our life. Our prayers won't give us what we want, but it will help us to gain the clarity about God's will and plan in our life. So, God's will for our life is very important. When we will pray God according to His will, according to God's will, then God will make a way. How does God will make way? God will go before us and He will make the way. He does know which way we need to go, and He does know where is our destiny. He directly won't let us go through the straight way. He will take us through the narrow way, through desert, through wilderness, so that He can prepare us for the future He has for us. So we must trust God with all our heart. We must trust that the way that God is leading us is completely right, and according to God's promise, He will never let us down, He will never put us to shame. God is a promise keeper. What He has promised us, He will keep the promise. We need to trust God with all our heart. Those who trust in God, they shall renew their strength, and in the due season they will reap a great harvest. So, what we must do to reap the great harvest? We must follow God's will, we must follow God's ways, and what He is doing in our life, we must approve it. We should not reject the will of God in our life. We should not tell God, no, no, God, it is not good for us. We want something different in this world. We love the world. We want a car. We want a Mercedes car. We want a mansion. We want a beautiful girl as our life. No, don't ask God like this. But instead of it, approve the will of God. What God will give us, they will satisfy our heart, and they will last to eternity. God's love for us will help us to overcome the world, and it will discipline us while we are in this world. It will help us to dream about heavenly things instead of the world and worldly things. Love for the world will destroy you, but love for God will help you to achieve greater things while you are in this world, and it will bless you. Also, it will bless the others around you. So you must concentrate on what God's will for your life, and you must approve the way the God is leading you. Don't worry. You don't have to worry. You don't have to fear anyone in this world, or you don't have to fear evil of this world. You must fear only God. When you will fear God, then you won't do any wrong things which is against God's commands. And when you will be with God and when you will walk in the way of righteousness, then God will go before you and He will fight for you. In God, you are already victorious, so you don't have to worry about anything. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I hope this podcast has inspired you and motivated you to work with God. And if you love this podcast, you can support me by PayPal. My PayPal ID is at the rate of Motowala, Motowala, God bless you.